going to be doing a fried eggplant. And we're not deep frying anything. This is going to be done in about maybe 2 inches of olive oil, not a lot of oil. And then we're going to be making some, I call Italian cauliflower rice. And then we're going to put it over a nice little marinara sauce just to give it some, you know, wetness. So we have a lot of vegetables that we're working with today. I'm going to go over all of our ingredients and all the things that I'm using. You guys see we're not using the grill today. We're going to be using our hot plate. So I have some oil that's already kind of preheated. Let me hit something on the screen 1 second, guys. Sorry about that. Okay, so I have that preheated, and I have another skillet right here that I'm going to be using for my cauliflower rice. I have a head of cauliflower. I have my eggplant. I'm going to be using maybe a quarter of this onion. You can use any store-bought sauce. I like Prego Garden Chunky because it already has onions in it, already has the garlic, you know, a nice aroma of vegetables. Then we have some basil here. We have some Italian seasoning. This is 1 tablespoon. We have 2 tablespoons of olive oil that we're going to be using for our cauliflower. And then this is a blend of garlic pepper seasoning. It's optional. You can definitely use some garlic powder and some pepper if you don't have this already mixed. But if you do, or you want to know where to get this from, I got this from Big Lots. They have a lot of seasonings there, so never be shy to kind of look through Marshalls, Ross, and Big Lots. You'll find some really great gems in there. And then to move over on this side, we're going to be doing a dredging system with our with our eggplant. So I have the 3 bowls set up. This is our flour. This is our eggs. I don't want to crack them. They're already in there. And then this one is going to be left open. We're going to add some Italian breadcrumbs and some Parmesan cheese. Now with the Parmesan cheese, it's not that you have to use anything shredded. I would recommend with this recipe that you use the grated Parmesan cheese that you use on top of your pizza or you use on your spaghetti. And we're going to be using a grater. This is to make our cauliflower rice. I'm going to show you how to do it. A lot of people buy it store-bought. And to be honest with you, when you buy it store-bought, it comes frozen. And Janelle and I do meal prep here at Urban Comfort Foods. And we noticed when we were buying it in bulk for meal prep and it was frozen, the quality between the fresh cauliflower rice and the frozen it was completely different. So I do recommend just getting the cauliflower and just taking the time to grate it down. It's very minimal time and it's a lot better flavor. Okay, and I have a small pot here and some tongs. Okay, this is going to be for our marinara sauce, just so we can get, just heat it up. I might season it a little bit more with some Italian seasoning, but this is a really good brand. I have a whisk for my eggs. I have some fresh oregano. This is going to be for our rice and some fresh parsley. I'm definitely not going to use all of this, but hey, I bought it like that. So, and it looks pretty. So let's go ahead and get started. The first thing I'm going to do is I already turned my oil on just so I can start getting it back up to heat. And then we're going to start with just cutting up these vegetables since we have a lot to cut up. Okay. So I'm going to start with my onion. Grab me a little trash bucket. So my grandpa used to make this meal all the time. I rather chicken parmesan at that age, but he always wanted us to get our vegetables in. And it's really good to, try different vegetables, especially with this. You can flavor it up. It can be like a vegan steak. A lot of people eat cauliflower steaks. We're gonna do that recipe. It's very simple, really good. So I chop this in really fine because it's going in our cauliflower rice, and we don't want really good chunks. I've showed you guys how to cut this onion. I'm pretty sure like every other video. So let's get in there and use those knife skills and start chopping it down. We really want it as small as possible. I'm not adding any garlic to this rice because we're going to be using the garlic pepper, and also because the eggplant is really, really flavorful. All of this is going to bind together really good. All right. Just get my onions, set them aside, very small dice. those hang out right there. And then we're gonna start mincing our herbs. Now with the oregano, you wanna take the leaves off because same thing with the thyme, it's got a really hard stem. So let's just go the opposite way of which the leaves are growing, and then you'll just be able to pull them off very easily. Okay? I'm just gonna do about maybe 3. We're just doing this for flavor, okay? But since it's an Italian dish, you wanna have all of those seasonings in there, it's gonna come together really good. All right. So go ahead and start chopping that up. You wanna make sure this is mixed down really well. Just kind of bring them back together when they start splitting apart. Side onions. I like to separate everything so you guys can kind of see what goes with what. This is everything for our dredging. This is everything for our cauliflower rice. We get our sweet parsley. So I sometimes I do use a different, flat leaf versus curly parsley, depending on what the meal is. Today I got the curly, but when I'm cooking Italian food, you should probably use the flat Italian parsley. I think it really doesn't matter. It's definitely just a garnish, and it gives a little bit of essence. It's not a big flavor. So even if you have dry parsley, you want to substitute it out for dry parsley, you can go right ahead. Okay, guys. Now, we're gonna work with this eggplant first before we get with the cauliflower. The cauliflower can be a little messy, when you're grating it. So let's save that for last. We'll move these to the side. Right here. My cutting board just a little bit. All right, eggplant. This one is kind of small. They have some that are like gigantic, guys. So you want to get one that has like a nice length to it because we're going to be making steak. So I'm going to be cutting, you can make medallions. You can cut them the round way or you can cut them the long way. I'm going to cut them the long way. I just feel like it's more of a portion. So I'm going to cut the top off. And your eggplant should be firm. And it's still like a little foam football, like a Nerf football. Right, so I'm gonna cut the bottom off just so I can have a nice little, now stable, right? And then with my knife, I'm just going to cut them about maybe not a half an inch, but a quarter inch thick. And holding it pressed down firmly so you can try to get an even cut. I'm gonna let this thing out because it's just me and Jim. Okay. So I'm gonna stack this one on the side, and I'm just gonna take off a little bit. Oops, see, be careful. Get a little bit in there. God, it's so tough, guys. Once you get into it, then you're able to just like slide your knife through, but it's very tough skin. But you want to be able to fry the inside, okay? Let that hang out there. And now we're going to start with this cauliflower, okay? So this has a lot going on right here. We're going to just get right into it, cut it in half, right? Set this one aside because we're not going to use all that. We're going to cut the end off. You know what I'm saying? It gets messy, just breaks apart. All right. So I can work with these, right? You just want to get it to a size where you can work with it. And then get you a small bowl or something to grate it directly into. I'm gonna use this. Maybe my grater. And you know, your grater has different sizes on it. So I'm gonna use this side. The bubbles are a little bit larger than this side. You know, I want it fine, but I don't want it too fine. And you're just gonna start grating. Maybe use a little bit larger side because it's very. And you literally just shave it off. And when you get down to this part, you want to rotate it, okay? Because you don't want to eat that part. It's not very good. And watch for your fingers, ladies and gents. You don't want to come back with another spray. Just bring it down your desired amount. I'm going to use both of these until I get down to the root of it. All right. Yeah. So we'll set this to the side. Let's see. That's a nice amount. And it's really nice and fluffy. And it's a great substitution for rice, guys. I try to give it to my kids. They notice it. It's not the best thing to disguise, but it is a healthier option. So that's what it's going to look like. Drop it down. So we're going to let that set to the side because that's going to be the last thing that we cook, okay? So let's start working on this eggplant and getting it fried up. I don't like all this mint. All right, guys. So first things first, I'm gonna empty some of our marinara. You don't have to do the whole jar. I'm gonna do half the jar. Okay. I'm not gonna turn it on yet. I'm just gonna let it kind of hang out until we're halfway done with the cauliflower rice. Okay. So let's go ahead and work on our dredging mix with the Italian breadcrumbs and the remaining dry ingredients right here. We're going to empty the Italian breadcrumbs, the garlic powder, our Parmesan cheese, salt, pepper, and red pepper flakes. All right. This is an extra garlic powder. That was that stuff. Okay, so all that's in there, we're gonna give it a nice dry whisk. Okay, before we get these wet with the eggs, just because we want to make sure everything is all incorporated. Okay, so look at that. It's supposed to be nice and mixed in. Okay, guys. So let this set to the side and let's go ahead and work on our eggs. Go ahead and get you 2 eggs. If you have large eggs, you can use 1, depending on how many you're frying up. But 2 eggs will do you justice, okay? Now, I would tell you to salt and pepper the eggs, but since we put a lot of seasoning into the dredge mix, we really don't need to. So go ahead with your whisk and just whisk your eggs together. Now, if you don't like the yolk, you can most definitely do this with just the egg white. It's it's definitely a preference. It's gonna still bind with either or. If you're watching out for your cholesterol, I would definitely drop the yolk and just use the egg. All right. So I used to mess up on this dredging method because I even had to look today. Sometimes if you do it incorrectly, it will kind of clump up on the product that you're frying, and then it kind of fries it like unevenly. So you want to make sure that you are using the flour first, your egg mixture, then you're going to be using your breaded Parmesan mixture. Okay. So I'm just going to go ahead and raise the heat on my skillet just a little bit to make sure it's at about 300 degrees to fry. Not necessarily 350, but definitely around 300 degrees. It's not a piece of chicken, so it doesn't have to be too hot. So I'm gonna let that just get a little warmer while we start dredging. Now, if you want to make these kind of fancy, I think I'm gonna turn mine into little triangles so I can stack them in the dish. You can cut them at an angle right here. Same with the other one. Now you have 4 pieces like this. I'm gonna start with the flour. Now you wanna make sure that you're coating all of the eggplant. I don't know if you guys can see. But you wanna make sure that all of it gets dusted. I'm gonna put these on top. All right, so then put these in here for my first piece. We're gonna put it in the egg mix. Not a whole lot, just wanna make sure you're coating it just the same way as the flour, that it's all getting wet to you. All right, and let some of that excess egg kind of drip off. And then lastly, we're gonna do our breadcrumb mixture. Right? Same thing, make sure it's getting coated. So it should look like this. And it shouldn't be any like excess like liquid coming off of the bread. That's why I said to make sure that you're letting the egg kind of drip off, okay? Let that hang out, and then let's repeat the process with the last 3. I hope you guys enjoy this. I know, like our culture, we seem to think that we need to have a protein with every meal, but sometimes it's good to just give your body some vegetables, help move things right along, you know? And plus it's a good thing for the palate, just to give it a break. Now, Parmesan, excuse me, the eggplant is thick and it's gonna soak up this egg. So you're doing more than the pieces that we're doing, 4 or 5 pieces, you're gonna probably need an additional egg. Your hands are gonna get nasty. You can use tongs, but it's like, I'm gonna save my tongs for when I'm taking it out the oil. You can also substitute this and do tofu the same way that I'm breading this. You can do tofu the same way. You don't want to do it with eggplant. Also do this with broccoli and any other vegetable, zucchini. All right, and the last one. And while these are frying up, we're gonna start working on our cauliflower rice. After I rinse my hands because it feels really nasty. Okay. All right, guys, so that's the last piece. Let me just give my hands a quick rinse. Okay, so go ahead and turn your marinara sauce on very low heat. You don't want it to scorch while we're paying attention to the other 2 fillets, but you do want it on so it can start getting warm. Very low heat. Okay, my oil is about ready to fry, so I'm gonna drop my first piece. But let's go ahead and test the oil. I'm pretty sure you guys have learned this from the grandmama's mama's mama. You know, just gonna throw a little bit of flour in here just to make sure that it's up to the temp, and it's already sizzling and bubbling, so we're good to go. And these are probably gonna fry for about Give me 1 second. Let me grab some paper towels. Sorry. These should fry for maybe about 3 minutes on each side. If depending on how thick they are, if you start seeing getting it golden brown around the edges where it's already the purple, you know, where you cut the eggplant, you can take them out. So I'm gonna heat my skillet up for my. I know this thing is really weird how the dials are in the front, so I'm sorry. I have to get it. I can't reach in front of it. You don't want to turn it around. The only reason I didn't do it like that is just the hood. But I thought it was supposed to be like that was the front. But. Okay, guys, so that's heating up. Just go ahead and just keep an eye on these. You can really smell the pineapple. And like I said, this is a really good recipe to try with zucchini. So if you have any zucchini in the refrigerator that's going bad and you want to get rid of it, you can come get it out, slice it up, and start dredging and frying it. It's a really good snack. So you can start flipping them to see if it's getting golden brown. This one is starting to. I like mine a little bit darker, just because it gives that nice crispy crunch. So I'm gonna let it cook for a little bit longer. I'm gonna start dropping my oil, my 2 tablespoons of olive oil down in my saute pan for my cauliflower rice. And I'm gonna start flipping these. So this is the color we're looking for, if you guys can see that. And be careful when you're flipping it because you don't want to get the crust under the, tongs and the piece of purpose to come off the foil. That one looks really good. I have all my paper towels. Okay, so this paper towel is intended to go right here for when they come out, just so you can get the heat for the oil on. I'm waiting for my skillet to warm up, guys. It's almost there. Check on your marinara. Stir. You guys want to season this up, like I said, you can. I'm gonna just leave it like it is because this has a lot of salt already. A little longer. Okay, so let's go ahead and drop our diced onion into our saute pan with the tablespoon of olive oil. I'm gonna let that saute. And our eggplant's just about finished. And bring it to the center where it's warmer. So this one doesn't seem to be getting as warm, guys. So I'm gonna move it over here. I'll show you step by step. I think this one is. I haven't really used this, guys, so my apologies in a while. So let's go ahead and remove the eggplant and let them sit on the paper towel for a second just to get that excess oil off. I'll let this one hang out just a little bit more. This is a long time in the pot. Okay, so you can hear that the onions are sauteing now. That's how I was looking for that sound up there. I don't know what was going on. So saute these until they're translucent. Then we're gonna start adding in our herbs. So our oregano, our parsley, our basil, everything in with the onion. Let those marry together and start smelling that. That's how it should look, guys. And now we're gonna grab the cauliflower, straight into the pan. You want to keep moving it around. It's gonna soak up that oil pretty quickly, and you want to lower the heat. All right. So at this point, let's go ahead and take our garlic pepper seasoning. If you have garlic powder and pepper as the substitute, go ahead and put that in and your Italian seasoning. All right, guys, so it's gonna do about another 45 seconds. Smells so good. Fire completely off now. And we're gonna start plating. All right. Let's take this last piece of Parmesan off. Ooh, that was super good. Yeah, we're gonna turn this. Oh, now it's heating up, guys. I'm gonna give it enough time. Okay. That stuff is off. So I'm gonna go in with the cauliflower rice first. Straight into the center. And then I'm gonna get the eggplant. Let's cross them like this. The three. And now we're going to ladle our marinara sauce right on top. I'm gonna get some Parmesan for garnish because I like. You guys can get some extra if you like. Right on top. And then a little sprinkle of Parmesan. And then we're gonna put some parsley because we did a great job today, guys. And voila, eggplant Parmesan with cauliflower Italian rice. You guys enjoy. It smells so good. I'm about to dig in, and you guys will get your treat tomorrow. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you guys later. If you guys have any questions or comments, please let me know.
Oh,